We're concerned about how social media is impacting our privacy, our productivity at work, the quality of sleep we're getting, and even our ability to spell correctly. Another interesting point to note is that more than half of us believe social media makes us feel more connected to other people, and that's really important for our emotional health and well-being. This year we found catching up with family and friends is a top reason for using social media. 85% of us use social media to do just that. Sharing photos or videos comes in next at 46%, while over a third of us are checking out news and current affairs, and 32% of us are watching videos on our devices, which is most likely to be a smartphone. Outside of the home, the most popular place to check social media is at work, closely followed by public transport.
Use social media.
When it comes to using social media, people in Canberra and the ACT prefer to get online in the evening or first thing in the morning, but they're the least likely in the country to use social media last thing at night. ACT and Canberrans have a higher than average ownership of iPads or tablets, and they're the greatest adopters of wearable devices like Apple Watches and Fitbits. This year, we're even more concerned about how much time we spend on social media. 1 in 5 of us is promising to cut back the time spent on devices, and 17% of us actually stopped using at least one social media site in the last year. 1 in 5 of us have actually posted something we unfortunately later regretted, and that's up on last year. And a third of us admit to reacting to something on social media that turned out to be untrue. People living in New South Wales are the most frequent internet users in the country. 67% of you are using the internet 5 or more times a day. You're the largest group of Aussies to use social media first thing in the morning, and about 2/3 of you do just that. And it's highly likely that it's happening during your commute to work. You're also more likely than Australians elsewhere to let social media intrude on your social gatherings, with about 1/3 of you getting social at restaurants, bars and parties, or when you're sharing a meal with your family and friends. People in New South Wales have the highest rates of anxiety in the nation when they aren't able to check their social media accounts. You're also the most likely to play doctor and ask Google for medical advice. For Territorians, Facebook is the most popular social media platform, but they don't really love Instagram. 24% of them use it compared to 39% nationally. Territorians might tweet least of all in the country, but they really know how to network professionally. They've got the largest number of LinkedIn contacts, averaging 284 connections. Queenslanders are the nation's greatest fans of Pinterest, but Facebook is a social networking site of choice. In a typical week, they're accessing Facebook 36 times, which is just shy of the national average of 37, and they spend about 20 minutes each time on Facebook. Queenslanders are the most likely in the nation to publish pictures or videos using the story function on Facebook, and on average, they have 211 Facebook friends, 115 Twitter followers, and 307 Google Plus contacts. Almost 1/3 of Queensland residents use social media sites more than 5 times a day, and only 8% of people say they never use social media. If you're living in regional Australia, you're more likely to be online first thing in the morning, probably in your lounge or living room, and on Instagram or Google Plus, where you're more likely to have more contacts than your city counterparts. You're less likely to have been bullied or harassed on social media than people in the city have been. South Australians find it the easiest to take or leave social media, and they aren't bothered about how many friends they have either. Only 19% of people living in SA use social media sites more than 5 times a day, and they are the least frequent Facebook users in the nation. When it comes to socialising at a restaurant, a bar or party, South Australians are the least likely in the nation to let social media interfere.
Use social media.
Tasmanians really use social media in the evening and first thing in the morning, which is right on par with the national average. They're more likely to get online at home, but more than 1 in 4 Tasmanians check social media at work. Tasmanians are the most likely to beat the boredom of a bad movie, with 8% of them telling us they use social media in the cinema. The average Aussie social media user owns 3.5 internet-enabled devices. They have about 239 Facebook friends, 241 Insta contacts, and around 180 each on Twitter, LinkedIn and Google+. They access the internet more than 5 times a day, and the most popular reason is to catch up and connect with family and friends. Most probably in the morning if you're a female, and after work if you're a guy. We use apps nearly twice as much as websites to access social media, and almost 2/3 of us use social media whilst watching television. That's most likely to be during the news or a reality TV show, and about 1 in 3 of us feel the need to discuss the show on social media while we're watching it. Victorians can perhaps lay claim to being some of the most popular Australians around, with an average of 285 Facebook friends and 268 Twitter followers, some of the most in the country. Public transport is a place to use social media for 40% of us, and we're also the most likely to use social media at the gym. Lunchtime and breaks find about 50% of us scanning social media sites, probably reading blogs and reviews, as 2/3 of us do this before committing to buy something. Victorians beat the national average for getting online in the evening and more likely than anyone else to use social media last thing at night, which might explain why the bedroom is the preferred place for 65% of us to access our social media sites.